I always thought living on a ranch would be peaceful. Rolling hills, open skies, and the freedom to live off the land. That's why I bought it. But I quickly learned that freedom came with a hidden cost, my HOA. It started innocently enough. One morning, I noticed workers surveying my property. When I asked what they were doing, they claimed the HOA had approval to build a water pipeline straight through my ranch. I couldn't believe it. My land, my water, their pipeline, and they didn't even ask me. I went to the HOA office, thinking I could reason with them. Big mistake. The president sneered and said, "It's for the community, and it's final. You can't stop progress." They handed me a stack of legal documents, filled with jargon, making it sound like I was the unreasonable one. For days, I tried talking to lawyers, filing complaints, even appealing to local authorities, but the HOA had deep connections. Meanwhile, the pipeline construction continued. Heavy machinery tore through my property, destroying parts of my pasture and threatening my livestock. I watched helplessly as my family's land was invaded, feeling a mix of anger, frustration, and disbelief. Then an idea hit me. If the HOA thought they could take my water, maybe I could take control of theirs. I started researching every water source they relied on. I discovered a privately owned reservoir upstream, one they depended on for irrigation and landscaping throughout the community. It was the heart of their supply, and it was for sale. With a mixture of adrenaline and determination, I made the purchase. The reservoir officially became part of my property. I installed gates and legal notices. Suddenly, the water that had been flowing freely into their pipeline stopped. When the HOA board realized what had happened, panic set in. Calls, emails, and threats flooded in, but I didn't back down. For the first time, I felt power. After weeks of being bullied and ignored, I had the upper hand. Part 2: The comeback, approximately 350 to 450 words. The next morning, the HOA members arrived at my gate, thinking intimidation would work. But this time, they were met with reality. No water, no pipeline, no compromise. They tried to negotiate, promising favors, special permissions, even community gratitude, but I remained firm. I had waited too long for justice to bend now. My ranch wasn't just a piece of land anymore, it was a symbol of standing up to abuse. Word spread quickly through the neighborhood. Homeowners whispered about my move, some admiring my boldness, others worried about the escalating conflict. News outlets caught wind of the story, painting me as the rancher who stood up to a tyrannical HOA. Suddenly, I wasn't just a victim, I was a force to be reckoned with. The HOA tried legal action, claiming interference with community utilities, but every lawyer I consulted told me the same thing. I had every right to my property and water rights. The pipeline project ground to a halt. Their expensive machinery sat idle while my gates controlled the flow of every drop. Finally, after months of tension, the HOA backed down. They had no choice. They couldn't function without water, and I wasn't negotiating. I had turned the tables entirely, using patience, research, and bold action to reclaim what was mine. Standing on my ranch one evening, watching the sun set over the hills, I felt something I hadn't in months: peace. Not because the HOA had learned a lesson, they probably hadn't, but because I had taken control of my life, my land, and my water. Sometimes, power isn't about fighting with fists, it's about understanding the system and playing the game better than anyone else. And as for that pipeline, it will never touch my ranch again.